I just learned that the average millionaire has over 7 different streams of income. 7! I find that most YouTubers who create these videos about their different streams of income are pretty unrelatable. Most of us don't have these large internet followings, and so revenue streams like AdSense, brand partnerships, affiliate marketing really are difficult for a lot of people. With that said, this video is all about how the everyday person can start building different streams of income to help pay down their debts faster, build their wealth, and achieve financial freedom that much faster. Now I'll be breaking these income streams into 2 types: active and passive. For those of you who are new to these 2 terms, active income essentially means that you need a continuous exchange of time and effort in order to earn and maintain your money, whereas passive income requires little to no effort and time to maintain or earn money. Don't be fooled though, passive income does take an upfront amount of either monetary or time investment, and only after that initial investment does the type of income start to pay itself off. Alright, so let's just jump right into the active income options. The first and most common one is just finding a primary source of income. For most people, this is some type of 9-to-5 job. For day jobs, there are a ton of options. I think the most commonly thought of ones are just these jobs that exist in the corporate world. But if you're not there yet, you can also just find more of an entry-level role or a role that needs little to no experience. That's what I did when I got my first jobs. I was either a grocery cashier or a waitress, or even working in different skate shops. So that was kind of my foray into the working world. A third area that a lot of people don't think about is skilled work. So think about the trades, whether that's plumbing, electrician, maybe being an arborist, and so on. These are really important jobs that a lot of people don't know how to do. Beyond that, a second source of active income is by finding a side gig, or some people call it side hustle. And within this gig economy, I think there's never been a better time in history to find a side gig, whether that is driving an Uber Eats, DoorDash, something along those lines, Lyft, as well as maybe even providing your services on a Fiverr or a Craigslist. These days with the internet, I feel like people's side gigs have scaled quite dramatically, whether that is drop shipping, Amazon FBA, or printing on demand. There's so many opportunities for people to start providing a good or service online in exchange for cash. A lot of people who are able to have side gigs that have a little more long-lasting value often find that their ventures end up becoming passive income. Think of people who write books or make music or even take photos. There are platforms all across the internet for each of these things, so that people will essentially pay you royalties and money every time someone uses your good. For me, my side hustle through college and then a little bit into my actual career was being a longboard content creator. I actually made a lot of media for the companies I was sponsored by, and in turn they would use that for their social, their websites, any other digital property that they were managing. It was a really great opportunity just to complement the job that I had in college, which was serving at a restaurant, or when I was making an entry-level salary and maybe wanted some more money to just play around with or start investing. Another option that I would say is semi-active is consulting. So if you're someone who's maybe a little further in their career and has specific expertise about certain topics, there are big companies and agencies that will reach out to you and ask for your expertise as a consultant. An example of an agency that reaches out on behalf of companies is someone like GuidePoint, where they'll look for people with specific expertises to then share with whatever their clients are looking for. Another form of semi-active income is selling used goods. So this can be anything from your clothing to your furniture to electronics that maybe you just don't use anymore but still hold good intrinsic value. And you can use a ton of different platforms to help sell that depending on what it is. Facebook Marketplace is a great distribution point for almost all types of products, but if you're selling something like clothing, maybe an app like Poshmark or Depop might be better suited, as there are specific consumers looking for that type of products. Which leads me to the next source of active income. I think if you get really good at selling used items and understand the marketplaces for these different niches, you can actually fully get into flipping items. And so you can flip almost anything, but people tend to specialize in 1 or 2 areas that they really understand, whether that's electronics, furniture, cars, sneakers, and so on. Whatever you choose to start flipping, just make sure you understand the marketplace and what things tend to sell for and what is undervalued or overvalued. That wraps up the active income portion. There's definitely pros and cons to using active income sources. There's immediate money to be made if you have the time to do it. But again, time is the one constant here that is very limiting. You only have so many hours to actually make money and exchange your time and energy for money. So that's where passive income comes in. This is a really great way to make money in your sleep. A really easy way to start your passive income journey is through opening up a high yield savings account. This is essentially an account that provides an interest rate that is higher than a normal bank. Let's say you found a high yield savings account with like a 1% return. Then just by saving $10,000 in it, you would make $100 a year. And while that doesn't sound like a lot, most traditional banks probably would give you back $1 per year. So it's kind of a free $99 that you would be gaining just by transferring your money from a normal savings account to a high yield savings account. I would definitely search high yield savings account just in Google and seeing which banks are offering the best rates right now. They definitely fluctuate just based on how the economy is doing and where other interest rates are. And then beyond just a high yield savings account, you can also look into other financial instruments to get you passive incomes. This could be dividend stocks, this could be CD ladders, this could be annuities. These terms might be a little new to you, but I would either suggest talking to a financial advisor or doing some research of your own on a website like investopedia.com just to understand what these mean and what types of returns and passive income they could generate for you. Do note that I'm not including short-term stocks here as passive income. Most people aren't taking out stocks out of their investments every single year unless you're some type of day trader or swing trader where you're making more short-term bets. The most common example of passive income is in real estate rental income. And so the level of passive income here really depends on how you're treating your property. But rental income can go beyond just real estate. Any asset that you own that can be rented out could technically become passive income. Another really common one is something like cars and renting those out through an app like Turo. So depending on what you own, just look around and see if there is a market for someone who might want to borrow it and pay you to borrow it. With that said, there's definitely a couple of takeaways. With active income, you only have so many hours in a day, and so your ability to make active income really is capped, whereas your ability to make money with passive income is uncapped. And so the more you can begin to transfer over active income into passive income, the more flexibility and the greater wealth cap you're gonna have. I mentioned that there are ways to invest your time and energy into projects that could transition over from being active to passive income sources. So whether that is using your active income to generate money to then buy something like a rental property or just to invest in other assets, or if you're able to create something that has long-lasting value and can just be sold on the back end without actually having to produce new things. Pinpoint what skills you have to potentially increase your income. And if you don't have particular skills yet, think about how you can invest in your education to build skills to then, again, create money, whether within these active streams or passive streams. With that said, I hope you found this video helpful. As always, appreciate you sticking around. Leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you around in the neighborhood.